shiftless and lazy? Wonder where he heard that.
We don't want to turn the safety net into a hammock that lulls able-bodied people to lives of dependency and complacency.
Self-reliance means if anyone will not work, neither should he eat.
Really poor children in really poor neighborhoods have no habits of working and have nobody around them who works. They have no habit of, I do this and you give me cash, unless it's illegal.
There's 3 million jobs every month in this country that go unfilled. And the trouble is, it's because they either can't find people who come to work sober daily, drug-free, and want to learn the necessary skills going forward to be able to do those jobs.
This is your Republican Party, where it's trendy to demonize the poor. And it comes 2 days away from 47 million Americans getting cuts in their food stamps. That includes 900,000 military veterans. It's a party that just last month voted to slash $40 billion from food stamp funding. A party that literally shut the government down, fighting the courageous fight to take health insurance away from Americans in need. So yes, Governor Kasich, there is a war on the poor. Now it's time to join the fight against it. It's time for your colleagues to wake up. Joining me now is Congresswoman Barbara Lee, Democrat from California. Thank you for coming on the show.
Very happy to be with you, Reverend Al.
Congresswoman, Governor Kasich calling out Republicans for demonizing the poor. Are some Republicans starting to wake up to reality?
I think this is a very good sign because I always say that Republicans have low-income people, people who are poor in their districts also. When you look at what is taking place, and thank you for mentioning what's taking place on Friday, Reverend Al, we have now a $5 billion automatic cut in the SNAP program, which is going to take away approximately 20 meals. I think that's the estimate for a family of 4 a month. And so we're trying to wake up the country and wake up the Republicans so that we can get legislation passed very quickly so that we can at least extend these automatic cuts that will take place on Friday.
And I might add that as you talk about waking up the public, let's not forget that Governor Kasich and others are up for re-election next year. So an awakened public may be something to consider when you hear what Kasich is saying. But let me say this. Kasich talked about calling the poor lazy. Just watch where Republicans get this idea.
Look at poverty in this country. Everybody out of work is eating. They got big screen TV, probably have a car, probably have a cell phone.
In fact, a follow-up segment tonight. Is America becoming a welfare state? The answer is yes.
I got news for you. In other countries, they're not washing their clothes and sitting in air conditioning, watching their big screen TV. They're dying. That is poor.
The thing we've got to deal with more than anything else in this country is deal with this entitlement mindset. The government's going to help me in every aspect of my life.
My contention is that the Obama administration is encouraging parasites to come out and, take as much as they can with no remorse. And this is how a country declines. This is how we become a weak nation.
I mean, this ugly, venomous portrayal of poor people, the most vulnerable in society, it is outrageous, and it is set this dangerous climate, Congresswoman. It is despicable because to say you've got to be dying to be poor, that you're having a sense of entitlement when you can barely get by on what food stamps pay, it is outrageous. It is telling bold-faced lies. That is not what most poor people are dealing with. And this whole picture of laying back, lazy, watching big screen TVs, this kind of profiling and stereotyping is utterly despicable.
Yes, Reverend Al, it's disgusting. It's a shame and disgrace, first of all, and it's not American. It's really un-American. Those aren't the values that the majority of Americans hold. Let me just say, the majority of people who are on SNAP benefits, food stamps, are working.
That's right.
They're part of the working poor. They're low-wage workers. And when you look at income inequality and what is taking place, you're looking at people who are making $7 and $8 an hour. What are we going to do? You know, we need to raise the minimum wage. We need to have a living wage for people. We need to provide a pathway to a job, workforce training. I was on food stamps, Irvin. Now, nobody wants to be on food stamps. Everyone wants a job. Everyone wants to live the American dream. Oftentimes, people need that bridge over troubled water. We're barely out of a terrible, terrible recession. And so for the right wing, the extreme radicals, to really begin to demonize people who are just trying to take care of their families and move forward to live the American dream, again, it's un-American. It's a moral disgust. It's a moral shame and disgrace, and we really should be outraged at some of these comments.
No doubt about it. Quickly, Congresswoman, the Center for American Progress issued its annual report on poverty in America, and you were there to talk about it. The report found there are over 46 million Americans living below the federal poverty line. That's 1 in 6 Americans, Congresswoman Lee.
In the wealthiest and most powerful country in the world, 42% of single women head of households live below the poverty line. And let me tell you, we have a plan, Reverend Al, to cut poverty in half in 10 years. We know how to do it. I have legislation that would require us to begin to move down that path. And so I hope that people who are watching your show tonight really embrace our legislation to cut poverty in half. It can be done. We have now children under 5, for example, in the African-American community, 42% of children under 5 are living below the poverty line. 37% of Latino children living below the poverty line. We have unbelievable numbers of children who are poor. What does that say about who we are as a country? We need to move forward. We need to have a strategy and a plan to cut poverty in half in 10 years. And I'm very proud as a Democrat and the chair of our WHIP task force on poverty and opportunity that we know how to get there if only we had a bipartisan strategy with the Republicans to do this.
Congresswoman Barbara Lee, thank you so much for your work and your time tonight.